Hear the wind and the ash sing me home.
I'm Preston Lane. I'm the artistic director of Triad Stage, the director of Providence and the playwright. You know, it's kind of, I think, difficult to track where any play starts. There are a lot of ideas that are floating around. Laura Lynn and I have been talking about writing another play for several years, ever since Bloody Blackbeard was in rehearsal, I think. So we were throwing around a lot of ideas. We went on a couple of road trips around North Carolina, up to the mountains, to Cherokee. We started really talking about some ideas about fate and chance and luck. And those began to play around with an idea that I had when I saw a production of Pericles by Shakespeare. And there's a great scene in there where a father finds a lost relative. And I've always loved that scene. And I thought, well, you know, what would this scene be like if you sort of took the idea of it and transferred it to a 20th century setting, you know, or a 21st century setting, if you updated it out of Shakespeare times. And so the character of a blind man searching for a lost relative popped into my head and began to play around with those other ideas that were there. And slowly the play emerged from that.
We don't want no trouble. I can't see to fight. But you gotta understand, this here's my baby girl. I can't leave her in a place like this. Now put it down. You go to hell. You go.
I think it's an amazing project. I think it's a very moving story, very engaging, very theatrical. I think Preston's really taking some exciting risks. My own taste tends to run that way, toward the theatrical, toward the kind of out there, and I think this piece is doing that, and in a way that really supports this story and the way he's chosen to tell this story.
This is it. I know it. I can feel it even if I can't see it.
Where you coming from?
Where they said I come from. Where they call me Chance.
Don't look like nobody's been here in a right good time. And there's 3 little crosses.
Grace?
Yeah, and there's names carved in them.
What they say?
This one says that bitch Berlin. But don't go in there, Estel. It ain't likely safe. This one says lucky. Never thought I'd read my own name in a graveyard.
It ain't a real grave.
And this one says fortune.
Both Preston and I realize that the songs that come out of the Appalachian region tend to be stories in and of themselves. They come out of a ballad tradition. And the plays that Preston writes reflect that ballad tradition in some ways. So we've got a double storytelling thing going on with the play and the songs. And each song tells its own story and is a whole piece in and of itself. But each song also has its role in the larger story.
The way the music supports the play, it's not like American musical theater, where people burst into song and have choreography and stuff. The music always intrinsically tells part of the story. So, you know, some of the lyrics that Laura Lynn had this time told me as much about the emotional place this plays in as Preston's words did.
Blue skies and white linen, cool evening we wed, 2 promises given, or were they curses instead? And I'm writing a letter with pictures from home.
Providence Gap is about Chance Presnell, my character. Basically, the story follows his life from his birth and his journey to find his true name. He finds out in the beginning of the show that he's not from where he thought he was from. He finds out that he's adopted, and the rest of the show is basically following his journey to find his true home, his true name, where he comes from, and find out, in a sense, why he is who he is and why he has the luck that he has in life.
You weren't my pa?
No,
You ain't my sister.
I reckon not.
It changes things.
Well, yeah, it does.
I always thought this here was home.
It is.
No. I always thought I'd live my whole life right here, a digging and a planting and a living off the land. I thought you'd marry Narvel Green and go off a ways with him, and I'd stay right here where I was born. Where I thought I was born. I thought I knew who I was. Thought I knew what blood was inside me. It seems to me a man's got to have a place of his own.
I spend a majority of the script as a blind character, and I of course have my sight. And then I found that I could go into a rehearsal and blindfold myself and actually do the scenes blind, and it became one of the most freeing experiences I've ever had on the stage in my life. I was able to let go of any aspect of trying to act like I was blind, and I could just be in the space, in the moment, completely blind, and have to rely on my other senses.
Blind? That sure as hell some bad luck, ain't it? Ain't the worst thing could have happened.
I'm thrilled that Jenny Lee is coming back, who's playing Berlin in this play.
Jesus God. Is that you, Chance?
Oh, hell.
Mama?
No, that ain't your mama.
Is that Lucky? Yes, ma'am. Well, don't you know who I am? I'm your Aunt Berlin. It's good to see you, child.
Where's Fortune?
Well, if I know.
I think when I first started writing the play, I thought it was going to be sort of the romantic lead. But then this character of Berlin kept showing up, who is just one of the meanest people I think that the world has ever known. You know, mean because her heart's been broken, but mean. She was capable of anything to get the man she loves. I thought it would be a great treat for Jenny to get to do something that was so out of character for her.
She's a little mean. She's she's a survivor, and she's patient, and she is of the earth, but she's a little bit of a mountain lion.
What about this here youngin'? What am I supposed to do with her?
I don't give a damn. Throw her in the river and let her drown. I can't bear the sight of her.
We'll go after what she wants with no care for others and who she steps on to get what she wants. I would love for audiences to go away from Providence Gap talking about that notion of home and what home is to them and where they belong, what roots are to them, and it can be more than places, but the people in our lives and the things that we experience. And yeah, that's what I love about this story.